If you're here, something in you is already shifting. Maybe it's a simmering frustration, a tension that rises when conversations spiral into battles. You want to understand. To navigate disagreement, not just to win, but to see clearly, to bring light to confusion. The Socratic method, ancient yet timeless, offers exactly that. It's not about crushing your opponent with words. It's about dismantling false certainty with questions so precise they leave no room for evasions. Today, I want to share 5 Socratic questions that quietly but powerfully dismantle any shaky argument, and with them, a subtle art of clarity to carry beyond any debate. If you imagine yourself caught in an argument, one where the other person's certainty seems unshakable, it can feel like a wall you simply cannot climb. But what if that wall isn't built from stone? What if it's made of assumptions, half-hidden beliefs, and overlooked contradictions? The Socratic method invites us not to attack the wall directly, but to find the cracks beneath its surface. It's a method of careful, deliberate inquiry, not confrontation. You don't need to overpower, you only need to understand. SFX, soft___ chime. To the first question you can ask, almost like a gentle spotlight, is, what exactly do you mean by that? More than just clarifying words. This invites the other person to step back and reflect on their own statement. Often, our beliefs hide behind vague or sweeping terms. When pressed to define them precisely, a subtle fragility appears. Notice how often we speak out of habit or emotion, without fully committing to what our words imply. This question isn't about accusing, but about inviting reflection. But why stop there? The second question digs deeper. How do you know that is true? This question, simple in form, becomes devastating in power. We assume our information is solid, true because it feels true. But drifting assumptions don't hold under scrutiny. It's a call to examine the foundations. Are they personal experiences, hearsay, biases, or concrete evidence? By encouraging someone to explore the source of their belief, you invite honesty, not defensiveness. And sometimes you find that the foundation is thinner than it seemed. SFX, clock_ticking_soft. 3. The third question pulls the conversation into the realm of consequences. What might be the result if that is true? This asks the person to imagine the ripple effect of their belief or claim. It's transformative because it makes abstract ideas concrete. Imagine that your belief leads to certain actions, or that its truth or falsehood carries real-life implications. Suddenly, the argument is no longer about abstract points, but about the meaning and impact of those beliefs. Often, this question reveals inconsistencies in the logic or an unwillingness to face uncomfortable consequences. Here, a gentle skepticism is your companion, not an adversary. The fourth question introduces this mood with, is there an alternative explanation? We tend to cling to the first story that fits our worldview. But reality is rife with complexity and ambiguity. By exploring alternatives, you invite mental flexibility. It's not an invitation to doubt everything cynically, but to consider that truths can have siblings, other interpretations that coexist or compete. This question can soften rigid dogmatism into openness. SFX, page_turning_lightly. 2. Finally, the fifth question touches the core of self-reflection. It's simple but profound. What if you're wrong? That is a question that reveals humility and courage. When we face the possibility that our deeply held positions might be mistaken, we open a doorway to new insight. It's not about defeat, but about growth. The willingness to entertain this question signals maturity, emotional resilience, and a genuine pursuit of truth. You might think these questions sound like weapons of war, yet they are tools of internal peace. They don't force surrender, but invite exploration, dialogue, and transformation. They work best not when thrown as grenades, but woven gently into conversation. When you listen as much as you ask, the Socratic method becomes a mirror, not a sword. It reveals not just the cracks in others' arguments, but in your own understanding. Why does this matter now? Because clarity is a scarce gift. In moments of uncertainty, when our mind fogs and our heart rushes, these questions help us pause, breathe, and see differently. They teach us not to fear change, but to explore it. They invite us to own our beliefs with humility and curiosity. These 5 questions have toppled empires of false certainty and inspired revolutions of self-awareness throughout human history. Reflect on your last argument or internal conflict. What would happen if you asked yourself, what exactly do I mean here? Could you uncover buried doubts or unexamined assumptions? When you ask, how do I know this is true? Could you trace your belief back to its roots? What consequences might you reveal by imagining the outcomes of your thoughts? Are there alternatives you're ignoring because they threaten your ego's grip on certainty? And hardest of all, what if you're wrong? What if that possibility becomes a door instead of a threat? That last question, like a key to a locked room, invites the freedom of transformation. It's the question that cracks the shell of rigidity and lets light in. The light shows you the vast, complex landscape of truth, an ever-shifting mosaic, not a fixed statue. SFX, gentle_rain, for the Socratic method honors the messy, intricate nature of human thought. It doesn't promise easy answers, but offers a path out of confusion. It acknowledges that you're in the middle of this ongoing dialogue with yourself and the world. Every belief is a living thing, subject to revision. Every argument is a dance of shadows and light. And sometimes, just sometimes, the best way forward is to stop insisting and start asking. What might happen if you carried these questions not as weapons, but as companions? How might your conversations, inside and outside, soften? How might your own beliefs shift from rigid posts into flowing rivers alive, moving, and endlessly renewing? Remember, this is not about winning arguments. It's about learning the art of truly listening, not just to others, but also to yourself. It's about stepping out of the arena of conflict and into the quiet room of curiosity. If you practice these 5 questions, you won't merely disrupt faulty logic. You'll cultivate a habit of thought that embraces doubt with kindness and courage. So go on, take one conversation a day. Notice what happens when you softly ask, what exactly do I mean? How do I know this is true? What are the consequences? Is there another way to see this? And what if I'm wrong? Watch how the air changes. Watch how silence blooms between words. Watch how true understanding begins not from confrontation, but from shared inquiry. The Socratic method isn't a weapon to destroy others. It's a light to illuminate your own path. And if you're here seeking that light, maybe you already carry it within. SFX, soft_tone. 3. What if the greatest argument you ever face is not with someone else, but with a part of yourself unwilling to ask these questions?